requirements of the Open Public Meeting Law have been satisfied concerning this meeting, the home news shall start published in notice on November 25th, 2022. The copy was posted on the municipal bulletin board. It should be so noted in the minutes of this meeting. Councilman Bauer, Councilwoman De Jesus, Councilwoman McCullough. Here. Councilwoman Meehan. Here. Councilman Patel. Here. Councilman Small. Here. Councilman Spiller. Here. Vice President Anderson. President Vaccaro.
Here.
Get a motion to approve the minutes from June 27, 2023.
Motion.
Second.
Questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Beginning with second reading of ordinances this evening, we will start with letter A on your agenda. This is an ordinance amending chapter 3 regarding the police regulations to regulate noise. With that said, can I get a motion that this ordinance be taken up on second and third reading and the public hearing be open?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Public hearing is now open on letter A only regarding noise.
Second. Noise.
John Bertari, Woodbridge over here. The ordinance amended Chapter 3 policy regulations to regulate noise by police department. Now, what kind of a noise are we talking about?
Disruptive.
I know what's disruptive noise.
Well, exactly. Noise can be anything. It could be voices, it could be music, it could be anything. So it's whatever.
But I mean,
creates a nuisance.
if people complain, but like I said last meeting, I could hear people from the high school, and I'm half a mile away, and I don't mind about it. I think it's not to know with it, but how far can they go to consider noise?
Well, it depends. It depends on. I know that this has some teeth in it because there's decimals involved in it, but unfortunately or fortunately, when the police get involved, there is a certain amount of judgment, like a lot of things that police work does.
I understand, but some people probably call up for very little noise or too late of noise. But my question would be, as you know about it, there's a lawsuit against the Indian community from last year, what happened in Merrill Park picnic, Indian Association picnic, and that was charged to put on not the noise, the size of the speakers. Now, I don't think there's such an ordinance, the size of the speaker. I know there's ordinance about how loud is the noise, but not the size of the speaker. So my question would be, who decides how loud is it? Just some people just complain no matter what. But do you really measure it and say, okay, this is a limit, like a speed limit on the cars? Or you just, cops going to respond no matter what, they will respond, you know. That's the obligation, which is a great thing they do. But then, again, I don't know where you getting for this. Thank you.
Director, similar?
I'll give it a shot. You want?
Go ahead, Mayor.
Parks, I think you said Merrill Park. The hours are 11 o'clock Friday and Saturday, so there's no issue. I don't know any event that goes on beyond 11 o'clock on a Saturday night or Friday night in Merrill Park, or any park for that matter. And I don't know anything that goes on past 10 on the other nights at the public parks. The noise itself is regulated by state ordinance, but the health department has the ability to go out anytime, any place with a decibel meter and measure. And the police department has the ability to go to any complaint about noise and determine if it is in fact a nuisance to the neighborhood. And if they determine it is, they can issue a ticket. No, it'd be 11 o'clock to 7 o'clock. There's no noise on a Friday and Saturday, and 10 to 7 any other night. Yes, I don't think that event that you're referring to went past 11. Why so in court? It has nothing to do with us. I have no idea. It has nothing to do with the township. I have no idea.
Are there any other comments or questions? On letter A, sir, if you'd like to speak, step up to the mic.
I had a chance to email, I think, a lot of you, and I know you're,
I'm sorry, I did receive that email,
Yeah.
but could you just please state your name and?
I will, absolutely. Sure. I'll just read what I sent. My name is Brett Randolph, and I am the homeowner of 24 Jean Court. 10 years ago, I left New York to return to my Central Jersey roots and raise a family with my partner, Kristen, in the quiet of the suburbs. We have lived happily amongst our little community and raised our 3 girls. In those 10 years, we've had no reason to complain about any quality of life issues until Woodbridge Brewing took over from the previous business, JJ Biddings. To be clear, I am not anti-bar. In fact, I have more than 20 years' experience running some of the largest bar and music venues in New York City. I manage both the Tribeca and Brooklyn locations of the Knitting Factory. My last job was running a 1,500 capacity beer garden and outdoor concert venue called The Well in Bushwick, Brooklyn. One of the biggest parts of my job was to ensure that businesses didn't disrupt our residential neighborhood. Our venue was constructed to minimize sound and employed noise-canceling equipment. The back patio at Woodbridge Brewing was constructed for outdoor dining. Beautiful brick to complement the historical building with low side walls to allow for a breezy alfresco dining experience. A wonderful spot to grab a drink, have a bite, watch the game. Unfortunately, the things that make it a wonderful place to eat and drink make it a terrible place to be doing live amplified music 3 and 4 nights a week in an otherwise quiet neighborhood. Speaking from experience, brick does not absorb sound. On the contrary, it acts as a deflector, redirecting the sound waves, allowing them to escape over the low walls that allow the same refreshing cross breeze to come in. Since Woodbridge Brewing is partially surrounded by large parking lots for both Town Hall and the train station, there is little to absorb the escaping sound waves. More importantly, the 20-foot elevated line that runs past my home acts as a funnel, directing noise directly into my neighborhood and into my home. I'm a firm believer in running things up the chain of command. Starting back in March when they were testing their sound system, I spoke to their manager, their owner. I've spoken to the noise complaint responding officers, the police shift supervisor, Councilwoman Sharon, and lastly, Dave and Phil from the health department. And yet, this auditory assault on my family continues unabated. We can't use our backyard unless we want to listen to their live concert at Woodbridge Brewing. The bass from the DJ sets, the crashing cymbals from the bands wake my 2 youngest daughters weekly. As a father, there is no worse feeling than your sleepy-eyed babies looking to you for help and there's nothing you can do about it. Our town ordinance states that businesses should not exceed 65 decibels. Unfortunately, the way it is enforced allows businesses to evade the spirit of the law. If you guys, when you have a chance to check the email, I have a bunch of clips with my decibel meter, with sound bites from my backyard of what we are dealing with on a weekly basis. The decibel meter I used was checked against the ones utilized by Phil and Dave from the health department, and they deemed it accurate. The decibel readings in these videos consistently spike in the 70 to 90 range across the street from the business, far exceeding the 65 limit. So if they're exceeding the 65 decibel limit, how are they not held in violation? Because the health department is limited to only checking from the complainant's property line. So even though they are breaking the 65 decibel limit, they are able to evade punishment due to my property being just far enough away to fall right in the 65 decibel range. Speaking from experience, it is impossible to have amplified music that is loud enough to drown out train stations and stay under 65 decibels. An ancillary impact of this is these outdoor concerts is that my neighbors, when they have gatherings and they play music, they have to elevate their volume to counteract the volume coming from Woodbridge Brewing. A nasty spiral of ever-increasing noise pollution that directly impacts the quality of life and our mental health. I do not want this business to fail. I honestly don't. I worked in the industry. That's what put the down payment down on my house and allowed me to live in this town. I just want to be able to enjoy my home, my backyard, and my neighborhood without being attacked by noise. I want my children to be able to sleep soundly through the night without being woken by a Stevie Nicks cover. No one reading this email would want this happening in their neighborhood, and I don't see why we do. A heartfelt thank you to Sharon, to Phil and Dave from the health department, to all the police officers who have responded. I look forward to hearing what the Woodbridge administration is going to do to help mitigate this health and quality of life issue. Thank you.
Are there any other comments on letter A? Hearing no other comments, can I get a motion that the public hearing be closed, the ordinance be adopted and submitted to the mayor for approval as required by law?
Motion?
Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, ordinance passes. Letter B is an ordinance amending chapter 7, which is regarding the traffic chapter of our revised ordinances, and this is to change the restricted parking from 2 to 3 hours on Oak Tree Road. Can I get a motion that this ordinance be taken up on second and third reading and the public hearing be open?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Public hearing is now open on letter B only. Here are no comment from the public. Can I get a motion that the public hearing be closed, the ordinance be adopted and submitted to the mayor for approval as required by law?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Letter C is an ordinance authorizing directing the title and possession of certain property be conveyed to the Perth Amboy Redevelopment Agency. Can I get a motion that this ordinance be taken up on second and third reading and the public hearing be open?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Public hearing is now open on letter C. Letter C open.
Sliver.
Again, John Bertari, letter C, is there property, Woodbridge property number 1, is it owned by privately or is it owned by the township? First part of the question. The second would be, if this is conveyed to the Pertamboy Redevelop Agency, is that going to be part of Pertamboy then, or is it what? How do you figure this out?
The
Number C.
first part of your question, I think I can answer, is we wouldn't be able to give it to Perth Amboy if we didn't own it. I didn't hear the second part of your question.
The question is, if it's given to Pertamboy, it's owned by Pertamboy, it's kind of Pertamboy property?
Go ahead.
Going to the Perth Amboy Redevelopment Agency, it's a very, very small piece of land that we own in the middle of private property, and that private property is being redeveloped in the city, or by the city of Perth Amboy, and we're just giving it to them. It's smaller than this room.
But on Woodbridge side, that's owned by the township or the private individuals,
If we're conveying it, we're the owner.
the owner. Now, that would not affect any kind of property lines, election times? anything
Nothing.
like- No, thank you.
Any other comments or questions on letter C? There are no other comments or questions. Can I get a motion that the public hearing be closed, the ordinance be adopted and submitted to the mayor for approval as required by law?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Mr. President, you have 25 resolutions for consideration. Can I get a motion to approve 1 through 25 by consent?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments from council?
Mr. Rich, I'll be abstaining from number 24.
So noted. Any other comments or questions? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.
All right, folks, we're now going to the public portion of our meeting. This is where anyone can go up and speak about matters that are on their mind. When approaching the microphone, please, if you don't mind, state your name and what section of town or at least the state that you live in. You have a one-time opportunity to speak for 5 minutes. If you're engaging any of us or the administration in a conversation, that conversation counts at 5 minutes. I just want you to know. All videotaping must be in the back. It's a designated area. Please be respectful to each other. And again, we're open now to the public, so please feel free to address the council. Once. Can you, ma'am, yeah, that little area there is actually the only place you can record, sorry.
Good evening. Not even sure what time it is. Good evening, all. My name is Tashi Jefferson. I am here as representation for myself, my family, who is my mom, LaWanda Jefferson. We are tenants in Jacob's Landing. It's a complex. It was formerly Buns Lane, so right around the corner. Yes, we have been displaced due to an accident that occurred, an apparent accident that occurred on July 6th, this past Thursday. We know that a sprinkler malfunctioned in the attic, the sprinkler system that was set in place. Due to the extreme heat, it exploded and caused a flood in all 3 of our units. There were 3 families that were affected. I and my mom live on the first floor, so we got about some of the worst of it. And currently, Ingerman Management, those that are responsible for the upkeep of our apartments and the management, they right now are declining to do much for us. We know that they are a private private company, but they said that they've reached out to their resources, but we currently do not have a home, and they're giving us very little options. We found out today that they terminated our lease as of July 6th. They said apparently, I'm referring to the regional manager. Her name is Maureen. My apologies, I don't know her last name. But she told us this afternoon, that Woodbridge Township forced them to terminate our lease. Therefore, we currently have no home. We are staying in Orange, New Jersey currently, but it's very far. My mom and I work here in Woodbridge. We do not have a car, so we have to Uber back and forth. We've been doing that for the past couple of days. It's very expensive. And we're honestly very worried because we don't know where to go. We're getting little help from them. They are stonewalled. Those that work for Woodbridge Housing Authority, they are trying their best, but corporate at Ingerman is not giving them any options. And I'm concerned about negligence that might have occurred. I'm concerned if things were not all the way up to code. I'm not sure if these materials that were put in place were the proper things that were put in place. Because honestly, this was a disaster that happened suddenly. None of our fault whatsoever. And for them to give us little options is, pretty preposterous. And so I am hoping that they can answer to this. I'm hoping that there is a thorough investigation into the conditions, because we are very concerned for this to happen again. This has happened before. This happened this past winter on Christmas Day. 3 other families were displaced because of the same incident due to the cold. Now it has happened again in the summertime due to the heat. Global warming is occurring. Things are getting warmer, things are getting colder. No telling when this can happen again. We don't want this to happen to any more families, especially if, they feel like they can't do anything for us. And it is just us. It's just us. We don't have anyone to go to. We're in a very temporary situation right now, but things are dire, and we would like some urgency from Ingerman and some answers. Yes, we're really afraid of it happening again. We don't want this to happen anymore. We have only been moved in for 5 months. These are supposed to be brand new apartments. We've only been here for 5 years. We moved in 2018. They started construction around 2016, 2017. They built them up very fast. And there were a lot of problems that happened throughout the years, and now here we are without a home. And it's really been a lot on us these past few days. And, these are really trying times, and honestly, we're exhausted today. But I felt like it was important to speak with you all and to bring this all to your attention. I would like to thank the mayor, because I did meet with him earlier, and I voiced some concerns to him. He let me know he's in communication with Ingerman, and he did provide us with some assistance that will help us. But we need much more, and much more support that we have not gotten, especially as loyal tenants. It's unfair. It's very unfair, and I would like some answers from Ingerman. They failed to contact us in this whole process as well. So thank you for your time.
Okay, Tasha, there's 1 minute left. I just wanted to ask you a question. Ingerman said that your lease is terminated?
Absolutely. We found that out by our supervisor who administered us the apartment 12 years ago when we first moved here, and she let us know that is out of their jurisdiction. She has messaged them and let them know that they could not.
Your lease is not up or anything, is it? Is the anniversary?
No, absolutely not. We recently did recertification. We do recertification every year. One more thing about the lease, they say that in the lease it contains that they are not responsible for relocating us in times like this, and it also states that we need renter's insurance, which my mom and I do not have, but we feel as though there was not thoroughness in elaborating that.
Okay.
And bad communication.
All right, Tasha, I am, as I said to you earlier, somewhat aware of your situation because I'm involved with the Housing Authority. We'll huddle up with administration. Mayor McCormick, do you have something? Tasha, you could take a seat because your
Thank
5
you.
minutes
Thank
is
you
up.
all for
We'll
your
follow
time.
up with you.
Yeah, thanks for coming out, Tashi. This is, what you said was 100% right. We agree with you. We think Ingerman has handled this badly. We've been on the phone with them. We've talked to multiple people from their office. We've had our attorneys come out and talk to us. We're looking at their agreement. They have a payment in lieu of tax agreement with us where they get a break because they're a housing project, not because they're economic development, because they're housing. We're pulling that to see if we have any recourse. But I can assure you that we did not tell them to break your lease. What they told me was the reason they broke your lease is so you could get the security deposit back and so you could get the rest of July's rent back. Now, I don't know, you're shaking your head, and you're shaking your head.
What we found out now was that the lease says that the moment that the fire department states that it's not safe to live in there, that we get terminated.
All right, it would be great if you both, are you Nazari Perez? I'm sorry? Oh, okay, okay.
It's stressing me out because it affects me.
If you can get us copies of your leases, that would be terrific. And if you can tell me who said what they said to you and when, that it was us that did it. Maureen Strong? Yeah, Maureen Strong. She works out of Collingswood. I know her. Yep. Well, listen, we agree with you. It's appalling to think that 3 apartments could be basically kicked out of their, not kicked out, but terminated through no fault of yours, and they have units and they own multiple other places in town where there could be vacant units, and they just left you on your own. That's appalling. That's appalling, and we're not accepting that. And like I said, we have our attorneys on it, and we have attorneys that know rent control and they know affordable housing, and we're on it. Are you Naomi? Are you Perez? Okay. Maybe you want to go. Maybe you want to go up there if you don't mind.
Thank you. I was starting to lose control there for a second. Okay, ma'am, hang on one second. You're more than welcome to speak, but we just needed to be up there, well, and I appreciate it. And I'm a senior citizen too, so I'm with you. Can you just tell us your name, please?
My name is Dozari. So I'm actually on the third floor. So supposedly, according to them, it started on my floor and then it went all the way down. So I was able to contact the supervisor, and they were able to come hours later, not even right away. So I was in contact with the building manager or office manager by the name of Tamara. She did give me 2 options. So she said I can either stay and wait till the holidays when the buildings were going to be done getting built, and I will get my monthly deposit, or I will get I can leave the building or leave the apartment or whatever, and I will get my security deposit and the rent for the month. So she did give me 2 options. I said I was going to think about it and speak with my dad regarding this. And then today she gave me a call saying the lease was terminated. So basically I didn't give her any decision yet. She just terminated it on her own. And the third family is currently not here, but she does have 2 babies. So I just got really upset because they did not care for those 2 babies. And one of the babies has autism. So it was very sad. They didn't care about how the babies were gonna sleep, if they were gonna get wet at night. So it's very upsetting. And that's basically all I have to say. Tamara pretty much said everything. But yeah, I just feel like thank you for the mayor for all the assistance he gave us. But I feel like there has to be much more done. Because even though we might be we're looking for apartments, but it won't take till months till they accept our applications. And we've been looking. So I'm not only speaking just for us, but also for our future people who are gonna be living there. And yeah, it's gonna happen again. It already happened in building 900. And according to a staff member, I want to keep her name anonymous. She did tell me one of her family members, the roof fell on top of them, and they didn't do anything about it. And it's just very sad, very sad.
Well, Council President, we also are going to have our inspectors out there to check all of the units, all of the roofs, and whatever burst. Once it burst, they said because of extreme cold. This one burst because of extreme heat. And the buildings are not all that old. They're less than 10 years old. 5 years. So how in the world this is happening is beyond me. You were given 2 options. Neither one's acceptable. Especially when this company owns Maple Tree, they own Delina, and they own Reinhardt right in town. And I don't know what else they own in other towns around us, but there's got to be a better effort made to replace your housing immediately. And there's empty units in Jacob's Landing.
Yes, they
And
said
if they're
that
promised
too.
to somebody else who hasn't
They
moved
lied
out
to
yet to
us.
move in, then they can stay where they are and let you go there.
They lied. They said no.
No, I know they said no, but like I said, we have our attorneys on the job. They're reviewing all the documents. I do have a potential place that could hold you, but I just haven't been able to hook up with the owner. I think he's actually overseas. But there's a very generous business owner who has a hotel in town, and he frequently makes his rooms available when something like this happens. And I'm hoping he gets back to me tomorrow. I have all the 3 numbers. I have all the 3 names. Now I've met you. I met you today. We're on it. We're as disgusted by this as you are.
Thank you.
Mayor, so if we can get your lease agreements, I have my card here, I'll take that, you can email it to me. If we can get your lease agreements and any correspondence through email or written correspondence, they send you a copy, if you can get them to us as soon as you can, that'd be great.
And even if it's just sitting down today and documenting a call you had, while it's fresh in your memory, write down exactly what you said and exactly what they said, and tell us the time and who you talked to.
Okay, good, Tori. Thank you very much for speaking. The floor is open for anyone else. This is the public portion of the meeting, so the floor is open for anyone on this topic or any other topic.
Excuse me.
I'll give it to her, I'll pass it.
Hello, my name is Kristen Wiles. I live at 24 Jean Court. My husband, my partner, spoke a bit earlier. We misjudged when we were supposed to speak publicly.
No, you were fine.
Okay, okay.
You still have the floor.
I think the biggest thing that I just wanted to ask or get guidance on is in terms of the health department's 65 decibels, the reading, that being like the regulation for the noise ordinance. I was wondering if we could get clarification or understanding as to how, for instance, when we call in a noise complaint to the health department, they will only measure from a complainant's home. And I'm wondering how we would go about getting something like that amended so that it could be at like an actual establishment, like the measurement being done from the establishment, not or the nearest residential location regardless of who the complainant was. I'm just wondering how something like that gets on the docket to be amended or considered.
What,
So
the
we'll
experts
speak to
here.
the first part. So we have Director Bajowski here, so he could speak to how it's done, how the samples are taken, and then we could speak to the other part about that. Phil?
Yes, thank you. So I'm intimately familiar with your situation, as your husband knows. I was out there with my colleague taking those readings. And to do that, we have to be certified in noise and go through a program, understand the law, pass tests regarding the law to show our knowledge of it adequately. So what we have here in Woodbridge is an adoption of the New Jersey Model Code. There's an administrative part of it, and I won't get complicated, but I'll answer your question, which is simply this. The way the noise code is written, sound is considered subjective to the degree that they will only honor it in a legal setting if there is a formal complainant of record, and the readings must be taken at the property line or somewhere upon the property of the complainant. The law is simply written that way. They have stakeholders who that see the state, who legislature, and they put these laws together. And they feel that that was the fair and proper thing to do. And we are simply duty-bound and legally bound to adhere to that criteria.
So it's a state regulation.
Correct.
Okay.
Brett Randolph, 24 Jean Court. Sorry, baby. Basically, what this opens up to is that any bar now can become an outdoor concert venue with no construction. When that outdoor was built, it wasn't built to be a venue. It was built to be an alfresco dining area. And the construction of it is obvious of that, because if no one who's building an outdoor concert venue in a residential neighborhood would put up brick walls with low-lying walls on the side next to a 20-something foot funnel. So the fact that they were allowed to, they put their permits and they say we're going to be a restaurant, we're going to be a bar, and then, oh, just kidding, we're going to be a concert venue, and we're going to do this to this neighborhood 3 nights, 4 nights, 5 nights a week. That seems insane to me that that's allowed to happen. In a town where you need a permit to do just about anything, that they can just open a concert venue. And it's the thing that breeds copycats is success, and this bar has been very successful. And I don't know what prevents any other bar from doing this in every other neighborhood around. And it's, again, thank you to the mayor, thank you to Sharon, thank you to the health department. I know you guys are doing your jobs, but I feel like we are stuck in a unwinnable position. And it's incredibly frustrating because, period, we should not have to hear their music in our house. I shouldn't have to hear their music in my backyard. We haven't been able to have dinner outside, a barbecue on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday night because I have to listen to their music. That's not right. That's not right. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are there any other comments this evening from the public?
John Rebuttal, Woodbridge again. As I said before, this is not a park. A lot of people are talking about it. It's a dense, populated neighborhood. You see a lot of young kids over there. What takes so long to talk to those people, man to man, or woman to woman, we call it? It's a listen, guys. Don't you want to be nice to neighbors? I mean, it's not a 4th of July every day or Independence Day or something like that. But again, whoever owns it probably has got a lot of pull not to obey the law. It could be done, and I don't know what takes so long because you can consider there's young people there, and with the school time or something like that, they gotta sleep, they can't sleep. I know how noise means. I'm living at 35 again. To change the subject a little bit, last council meeting, Mayor, I came over here, and incident that happened on Wednesday before. Mr. Baumgartner got hit by lightning at playgrounds, school. And I was going to tell you that playground that happened, they did not have the device to about the lightning and thundering, lightning. You jump into it, you said, where do you get my information? In my beauty salon? Yeah, I'm beauty salon for the last 60 years. I do hear a lot of information in my beauty salon. But that information, I find out the very next day, I was at a school board meeting. At that time, Mr. Danny Harris came after the closed session, and they all came to the floor. The first thing they brought up was the main got hit with lightning. And they said that time, there was only field, they did not have that detector. Israel Middle School and high school. The other side is a field, and the reason was that they do not use it for playing, they just to practice it. But again, what was said to me, even days before, people used to call them stupid. How could it be so stupid they cut a grass with lightning thundering? I guess most of us do it. The lightning thundering, we still do it. But again, it happened, and that's the only field that did not have it. And I was going to bring up, it happens. It was overlooked. It wasn't because I don't have money. But let's face it, there was no detector on that field to alert anybody to be doing what he was doing. So again, yes, Mayor, I do work in a beauty shop for 60 years. I get a lot of information, and that information comes from beauty salon. And I guess people in beauty salon talk different than they talk in the bars. People talk different. They're concerned about the real things, not having a fun, not having this, they're concerned what happens to it. And they do advise people what they want to do it get done. They don't have to come over here or anyplace else, but they're concerned. It's a nice town, it's a town, but take care of the little people first. Don't be so humble and so to the big guys, because they take time, they got money, and they get their way. That's what I want to say, but again, I'm proud to be 60 years in business, and I get a lot of input, good or bad, but that's not the same as you talk in a bar. Thank you.
Are there any other comments from the public this evening?
I'm Roseanne Galtez. I'm one of the owners at Woodbridge Brewing Company. I kind of would like to address the noise ordinance issue that we have going on. You know, we are proud owners here in Woodbridge Township. We love the town. We love being here. Unfortunately, every time we open the restaurant, I'm worried about a police officer coming to give me some kind of warning for some ordinance. I've heard that we're playing music 5 days a week, which that is completely untrue. We have followed every ordinance at the state level to what we're supposed to do for the noise ordinance. But every Friday and Saturday night, I have a police officer at my restaurant telling me that we've had a complaint. It's really sad because here I am employing 40 employees, which 75% of them are Woodbridge Township residences. They live here. And I sacrifice so much for the business, yet I have to worry about opening my doors every day. So I'm not sure where else we can go with this, but we follow literally everything we're supposed to do. We've been in contact with the health department. We've been in contact with the town. I can't do this every weekend. Do we just take one person's opinion on if music is loud or not and just make it a complaint and make it a complaint that I receive at the restaurant? I just wanted to, for you guys to hear kind of what we're going through at the restaurant too. That's pretty much it.
Thank you.
Are there any other comments this evening from the public?
All right.
Yeah, one more.
Didn't know if you were getting up to come up and speak or going out the door, so the floor is yours.
Thank you. My name is Esteban Galtez. I'm one of the owners of Woodbridge Brewing Company. Anybody who knows me and my wife know that we're not disrespectful people. I take the feelings of others that are out there serious when they tell me that the noise ordinance should be at a certain time. I've cut the music off during the week at 10 o'clock. It's not very loud. It's actually some of the music's background noise that we have on our speakers that are really low for our customers. At no point do I ever sit there and throw a concert. I mean, there have been times where I've told them, because I felt like it might have been a little loud, and I told them, lower it, because it's not right. I'm feeling like we're being attacked a little bit. I don't know if it's a personal thing for us buying this business and being here. I spent a lot of money of my own hard-earned money, and I don't want to get emotional, but it sucks. It really does suck, because every day I look at my wife, who's in utter pain. And everybody who knows my wife knows she's in utter pain with her back. And we sacrifice every day to go in there and give something back to our kids. And I got to deal with this constant call every single week. Every single week. I've had police officers actually come and tell me, I'm not really sure what the call's for. I mean, we got a noise complaint, but it doesn't seem really loud at all here. So I'm like, I don't know, it's just something that we're dealing with right now. And there's times where they show up and they said there was a noise complaint, and the girl actually walked past me and walked past again. And then I said, well, I was actually on my way out. And she said, I said, officer, is everything okay? And she said, yeah, we just got a noise complaint, but we don't hear any music. And I mean, that to me is a bit of a shot, So I don't know what else to say, we try to do the best that we can for the community, and this kind of sucks that one person is just taking shots. I've even spoken to my neighbor who lives directly across the street. Across the street. Linda, how's the noise? Is the noise loud? I have text messages in my phone where she said, I can't even hear it. You can come over here if you would like. Come inside my home. I sent my wife there so she can see herself. This is the person who lives. I can literally flick a rock and hit her house, and she's telling me that it's not a big deal. It's not loud. This person that was here talking, I respect him. It's fine. I understand. I'm not trying to be a bad neighbor. But the guy lives all the way on the other side of the street. Last week, there was a party, and I'm telling you, I was standing at the doorway of the restaurant, and I can hear this music coming from someone. And I asked my bar manager, where's that coming from? We literally took a ride, and the party was right next door to his. And it was blasting, and I can hear it at the door of at my bar. But I didn't say nothing. I'm not going to cause a riff. It is what it is. You know, I really don't know how much more to say. I just needed to get that off my back because we've been under a lot of stress, and this is just unfortunate, you know. Thanks for the time, Mr. Mayor and everybody else.
Thank you.
Any other comments this evening from the public? There are no other comments. Can I get a motion to close the public comment portion of the meeting?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Council President,
We're gonna go
Council
with-
President, would you
I'm
mind
sorry.
before I leave, if I could comment on what Mr. Vitaric said? It makes no difference if the field was in use for practice or for games. If kids are on the field, that's what's important. They're trying to say that that we don't monitor the field because it's only practice. So what? Lightning can strike in a practice, lightning can strike in a game. No one has made the decision that that field is not monitored because of that. That's ridiculous, and any administrator who did that is just not doing their job. Second, it is monitored. You can hear the lightning detection system at JFK, which is right next to Islam Middle School. You can hear it from that field, and I know this, as I said 2 weeks ago, because I went to the scene of the accident and was standing right there and could hear it going off at the press conference a little bit later. Heard it. So that is, for anybody to say that they didn't put it there, they're not telling the truth, because it's there. And the final thing is, we use that field for leagues, for youth soccer. So nobody here is making any sense. We didn't put it there because it's only practice. That's not accurate, because practice and games make no difference. We didn't put it there because the town, whatever. We use that field, they use that field, practice, games, it doesn't matter. If it's on the school grounds, it is subject to the lightning detection system, and I know some people on the dais know it better than I do. It's there. So I don't know why, after hearing that last 2 weeks ago, and I don't care if you heard it at the hair salon or wherever you hear it, I don't care where you hear it, but what you're hearing is stuff that makes no sense, because you've been coming here to these meetings for years, and the first thing it says is, I heard. And you're never right. Never right. So again, the lightning detection system is there and it works, and I heard it, and other people in this room heard it. So let's stop with this nonsense.
Mr. Vitaric, you know
Let's
the
stop with
rules.
this nonsense.
All righty, we're
Mr. President,
Thank you.
I too was on scene when our employee was struck and the detection system was going off. I heard it going off plain as day, so it was.
Council President, just to reiterate the mayor and Councilman Small's statements, my Pop Warner organization practices all through the end of August and September. We are aware of that program. Our kids are taught and our parents are taught when they hear that sound, all right, that you're saying doesn't exist or doesn't, you're not able to hear it, they're taught to return to their cars immediately. And they listen for that sound whenever we're in the outfield of JFK High School, which is right next to the gymnasium of Islam Middle. So we hear that sound pretty clear.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, we're going to move into our agenda. I'm going to go a little bit out of sequence. Councilman Patel, you can go first, please.
Thank you, Councilman. My agenda is there in order. I would like to have this announcement as a reminder that HSS, which stands for Hindu Swayam Sevak Sangh, a local organization which has set up an exhibition at the Barron Arts Center. This exhibition is titled Darshana and is about the Hindu civilization. And it was opened on June 26th and will be open to the public till July 30th. The hours to review this exhibition is from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. And that's all for tonight. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right, we're going to jump back on schedule. A few announcements from me in the world of wellness and recreation. It's not going to help too much, but the pizza run, our annual pizza run, is tomorrow. You can register at Alvin P. Williams Park at 5:30 if you haven't already. We have some bonus concerts at Parker Press on July 29th, The Beat. It's a polka group. On August 11th, we have South Asian Summer Festival. On August 19th, we have Brenda K. Starr, which is a Latina performer. Middlesex County Jazz Festival, where we're coordinating with other towns throughout Middlesex County on jazz music. And then August 8th, 9D's Night, which is a 90s tribute. The Mayor's Free Concerts for Children, ages 2 to 10, and this is over at Parker Press 2. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is musical show at Arcadia Youth Center. The 22nd of July is Rumpelstiltskins at 10, and Snow White is on August the 12th, also at 10. Kids concerts at Parker Press for ages 6 to 10. October 5th is the Owls Present Outside Rock. That starts at 10 a.m. And then suitable for ages 10 to 14, DJ dance parties at Parker Press, Friday, July 14th, which is this Friday, Friday the 28th of July, and August the 18th. Also, our Woodbridge Township Youth Services is providing Generations Connections, which is a program that brings together senior citizens and middle school age children to share time and experiences. 5 branches has theirs on July 14th, that's at 1 p.m. Evergreen on July 21st at 2 p.m. Oak Tree, July 25th at 1 p.m. and Maple Tree, July 27th at 9:30. And that's all I have. We'll move over to Council Vice President Anderson.
Thank you, Council President. My agenda's in order. I do have a few announcements. For the job bank, we are announcing that crossing guard positions are open, and we are actively looking. They're starting at $16 an hour. Basically, we're looking for someone 18 or over, someone that knows how to make good judgment, that's willing to train and learn, working various weather conditions. All equipment will be provided, and they are willing to work flexible hours. We also have at the Barron Arts Center, Jazz Poetry Coffee House readings will begin on August 19th and also on September 16th. It's free admission at the Barron Arts Center. And lastly, I would like to mention that this Saturday at the Woodbridge Brewing Company, you can meet and greet New York Jets wide receiver Alan Lazard. There are tickets available. If you're a Jets fan, I believe Councilwoman McAuliffe is an active Jets fan, and so is our council president. So I'm sure they'll be in line with their souvenirs, ready to get their signatures. But if you have some kids that want to get the signatures, bring them out to the Woodbridge Brewery. And also, we're about to start our Pop Warner season. August 1st is Pop Warner season. We have our Port Reading Saints and the Woodbridge Broncos. They'll be in our parks. Just want you to just keep an eye on the kids as they're exiting their vehicles, going to their practice field, and come out and support the kids. They both have their pep rallies scheduled later in August, and we'd love to have members of the community out there to support them. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Small?
Thank you. Number 17 on my agenda, Woodbridge Elks is hosting Boardwalk Night, July 22nd, 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. Food and games, admission is free. That's all I have this evening. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Councilman Spiller.
Thank you, Council President Vaccaro. Item number, just working on this now. Item number 6, Sycamore Senior Center. They're looking for middle school and high school students to volunteer their time for there's credits that they need towards our certain organizations such as NHS, NJHS, rec leagues. They can contact Danielle at Sycamore Senior Center at 732-726-7087. Thank you. Item number 16, the Greenway Family Success Center will be having a baby shower for expecting mothers and new mothers with children 12 months and under this Saturday, July 15th from 11 to 2 at Acacia Center on Port Reading Avenue. Greenway Center, located at 1005 Broadway Avenue, is a place for families to gather for free fun activities and educational workshops and get a chance to know their neighbors. So if you're an expectant mom or have a newborn 12 months and under, come on out and have some fun with the folks from Greenway Center. Rest of my agenda is in order. Council President, thank you. Thank you to all emergency responders, Woodbridge Police, Fire, EMS, Public Works, Township employees. God bless America.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Meehan.
Thank you, Council President. Going down to number 5 on my agenda, food pantries. Just a reminder that during the summer, the food banks tend to run low on food, and the need is still there, especially for children that are no longer in school for the summer. They can use the meal. So if you can donate, please stop by our health center and the library, the Woodbridge Community Center, or you can drop it off at any of our free concerts throughout the summer. The rest of my agenda is in order. Just one announcement: the St. John Vianney's Fair is being held this week till Saturday, July 15th, from 6 to 11 p.m. They have food, major carnival rides, wristbands are sold every night. They'll also be holding their annual Summer Splash 50/50. It's a great tradition in Colonia, one of the few that are left. So stop by for a good night and enjoy a nice night with the community. I hope everyone's having a great summer. Just remember, everything gets warm. Check in on your elderly neighbors and make sure they're okay. That's all I have this evening.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman McCullough.
Thank you, Council President. My agenda is in order, and I just have 2 announcements, just to remind everybody. Number 1, for events, that our farmers market is open every Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the new Park Press Park. And number 12, we want to congratulate Seymour Library. We want to say congratulations to Isabella Tenbrook for winning the Guess the Fish contest. And for more information about the events that are going on to Seymour Library, log on to www.seymourlibrarynj.org. Thank you, and that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Mick.
Thank you, Mr. President. My agenda is in order. Just a reminder, we will go right into the Health Department agenda immediately after the Law Department.
Very good. Thank you. Director Semaluka.
Thank you, Council President. I have several items on my agenda. I have a tax and sewer overpayment. I have a 100% disabled veteran, and I have CME Associates contract for Magnolia Avenue walking path, sidewalk along Magnolia. Thank you, Council President.
Director Hubner.
Thank you, Council President. I have some of the traffic ordinance amendments. Thanks.
Thank you. Director Buchowski, we'll leave you till the end because you have a report. Thank you. Director Darden.
Thank you, Council President. Nothing this evening. Thank you.
Director Brew, you look like you have a few here.
Thank you, Council President. Yes, a few of them. Release of a surety bond number 0758328. Second one's a proposal from Colliers Engineering and Design for Omar Avenue Extension Project. And last is the proposed model ordinance for privately owned salt storage.
Thank you.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anything from legal?
That's received.
All righty. So, Director Buchowski, we're going to turn the floor over to you. It's all yours.
Thank you, Council President. I had a few agenda item updates since our April report. I'll make them brief. Item number 3, our rabies clinic we had on May 23rd was very well attended. We administered a total of 122 animal vaccines, 96 dogs and 16 cats. Anyone who may have missed that, our next rabies clinic will be on October the 3rd. Item number 7, opioid overdose recovery program. We're having an overdose awareness flag raising and walk at Town Hall on August 26th, that's Saturday, from 12 to 2 p.m. This event is to remember all those who lost someone due to the disease of addiction. There will be resource vendors available on site, and it will end with a walk up Main Street. Item number 9, COVID response. We continue to offer free COVID vaccine boosters. However, as the incidence of infection and vaccine demand has slowed, we have adjusted our clinic schedule down from weekly to every 2 weeks, alternating between adult and under age 12 age groups. We're going to monitor the infection numbers and vaccine demand as we head into the fall, and we will adjust our clinic schedule accordingly. We continue to receive the vaccine at no cost, and virtually all of our related operating expenses are covered through multiple grants. And last but not least, item number 11, our health mobile. We're very pleased to announce the recent arrival of our health mobile. It is in service and has been very well attended. Our initial free services focus on health screenings such as blood pressure, blood glucose, blood cholesterol. These screenings have on-the-spot results. There will also be a number of other health educational materials, including free COVID home test kits while they last at the vehicle. Our health mobile routes will include stops at our senior housing sites, underserved communities, and the community at large. This month we have, at our Monday concerts, the health mobile will be there. You can see our monthly calendar for where we will be and other details by visiting the township website and our health department Facebook page. Additionally, our additional health mobile events will be announced by the mayor through his Friday Code Red calls as they develop. In conclusion, I want to recognize the good work of our primary health mobile team, and that's our manager, Kim Alsta, who produces most of the schedule, our driver and aide, Christopher Powers, and our nurse, Sarah Jastremski. Council President, that's a name tougher than mine. It should be noted that the health mobile was provided by an anonymous donor at no cost to the township, and the operating costs are primarily covered by multiple grants. The rest of my agenda is in order, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Director. I'd just like to point out, as you know, I sat in on a meeting yesterday with your team when we were looking at options for a possible grant as it relates to mental health, and it was a pleasure to see the collaboration, the professionalism under your leadership, so thank you.
Thank you.
And can I have a motion? Oh,
Can I just ask a question regarding the health mobile? Will organizations reach out to the health department if they would like, or neighborhoods ask if the health mobile where it will be, and how is it decided on where it will go?
So the plan is clearly, primarily right now, it's developing. Our primary objective is to take care of our residents and seniors, underserved communities, and our community at large. We just got underway. It's really very well received. As time goes on, we'll evaluate means of expanding it, and the options you described with the collaboration of administration.
thank you so much. Any other questions, folks? Motion to adjourn?
Motion?
Second. Thank you. Everybody realizes we have a Cosby, Stills, and Nash tribute band tonight, so thank you.